Okay, I'm going to be talking today about the Art of Life Tarot. I pulled it this morning, and I've been using it kind of like a oracle deck. I've been putting it in, picking a card, and then putting it in the little viewfinder here, and then having it as inspiration. It's wonderful for that. But then I did an actual reading earlier today, and it was quite powerful. And then I started spending time with the deck, going through each card. I had gone through each card when I first got the deck and kind of put it away, and now I use it for like inspiration. I have it on top of my mantle and switch out the cards every once in a while. Today I just want to show you how this deck is really so remarkable. And how I'm going to do that is by going through the sword suit. So for people that are aware of the tarot, or know the tarot well, you know the sword suit or the spade suit or whatever you want to call it. The sword suit is the intellectual and communication sword. I'm going to go through it and show you the sword suit in this deck to give you an idea of how remarkable this deck is. Now, I have this in the viewfinder. I'm trying to see. It's kind of higher up than I am, but I think we can work this out. So each card, these are larger cards, which I don't really like large cards, but in this case, I love these cards. I just love them. They're not good for very large spreads, but they just have a gravitas to them. They're so beautiful. They're just beautifully designed. They have the Ace of Swords clearly marked. They have the pictures, a classic painting. And then they have where that you can find the painting, and then you also have the quote, of course, from literature or from some famous person. They always have a quote, and it does match up with the suit. It does match up with the tarot. So we're just going to go through the sword suit, the one ace through 10, and I'm going to give you a taste of how it covers the swords. And then I'm going to show you my 3 cards. Well, I'll talk about that later. Okay, so this is the Ace of Swords. The aces have potential of the suit. So this is the seed of the suit. The ace is the seed. And it kind of sums it up very nicely. I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning to sail my ship. And there's a beautiful painting there of a boat on the water. It's a beautiful saying. I'm well aware of this saying. It's pretty common saying, but it really portrays the Ace of Swords very well. So you're heading out on a journey. It's going to be stormy, but you know you have the potential. You have all the things you need to survive the storm. It's given to you already, and so that's a beautiful, beautiful Ace of Swords, in my opinion. The Two of Swords. As a man thinketh, so is he. As a man chooseth, so is he. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So what you think makes a difference in how you think. What you think is like your reality. And same with your choices. So these are things you have control over. So you have to be careful, be cognizant of the power of thought and the power of choice, because it is under your control. In the Rider-Waite-Smith, it's the woman trying to make a decision with the 2 swords, blindfolded. So there is control. I mean, there is. You have the ability to control these things, your thoughts and what you choose. The Three of Swords. Three of Swords traditionally is, you know, the swords, 3 swords going through a heart. And then they say, Ralph Waldo Emerson, difficulties exist to be surmounted. So that's a wonderful take on the 3 of Swords. There are always difficulties. Life is always a constant change, a flux of motion, and there's difficult times and there's happy times. And those difficult times are where we learn. That's how we learn, because we have to get over them. The 4 of Swords, known in the Rider-Waite-Smith, is the sort of the meditation card. And here it says, "My sun sets to rise again." Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And again, it's going within, it's calming down, it's sleeping, it's rest, and it's just recuperation from it. Sometimes you just have to step back, recuperate before you go on your journey. My sun sets to rise again. Okay, now we're getting into the swords that are a little more, well, the Five of Swords is where there's a fight going on. Sometimes I go about pitying myself, and all the time I am being carried on great winds across the sky. The Five of Swords. So it shows that, we're going to be defeated at times. But in that reality of being defeated, depending on how we choose to see it, or how we choose to engage with it or disengage from it, there is still a force beyond our control that is there to help us, that we can access support from outside ourselves. Sometimes I go about pitying myself, and all the time I am being carried on great winds across the sky. So we are not alone. I mean, we are alone, but then we have all this energy around us to help us through difficult times. The Six of Swords, that's where they're traveling in a ship. And here the Six of Swords says, for everything you have missed in life, you have gained something else. Ralph Waldo Emerson, he had a lot of nice quotes. So that's pretty self-explanatory. For everything you have missed in life, you have gained something else. Now we're getting into the more difficult sword suit, the 7, 8, 9, and 10. Here's a 7 of Swords. Now in this one, the man is stealing away. Looks like he's stealing something, but we're not sure what's going on with it. One must have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. Again, this is all about dealing with difficulty, and that difficulty leads to a growth. Difficulty leads to growth. One must have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. I think just being human, we struggle with things, and we struggle with something for so long, we can't see that there's something to be gained from it. But there is always something to be gained from it. You may not realize it, or you may not want to realize it for many, many years. In my book, Meditation, 101 Ways to Meditate, there is a particular meditation that is so powerful where one, it's kind of a guided, it's a self-guided meditation where you take the worst event in your life and you say, well, what did I learn from this event? And then you just come up with something else. And you say, what did I learn from that? And so what am I supposed to learn from that? And you go down until you really distill the event down to what did I learn. And it's always positive at the end. There may be, very many stages of grief or of frustration or of anger. But as you keep asking yourself, going down the line of what did I learn, what did I learn? And then you can come up with, you always end up in a good place. So that's kind of what this is about. One must have chaos in one's life to be able to give birth to a dancing star. See, people, I think we all give up at some point, maybe, or just live with whatever the chaos is in our life, but we can manage that. Not only manage it, but overcome it. The Eight of Swords, this is another ship on roiling waters. You can never cross the ocean unless you have courage to lose sight of the shore. This is where the woman is bound up and there's swords around her. So this is Christopher Columbus. You can never cross the ocean unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. So courage has a lot to do with living through difficult times. People who live through difficult times come out the other end, even if they're battered and bruised, even if they have issues. They're courageous. They're courageous. Nine of Swords, the Nightmare card. The longer we dwell on our misfortunes, the greater is their power to harm us. So that is for sure true. We all have experienced that. The longer we dwell in our misfortunes, the longer we dwell in this negativity, the longer we dwell in thinking dark thoughts, the greater is their power to harm us. It's important to not stay there too long. We got to get out of that situation, at least intellectually or with our mind. And then the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is always is always a card that it's all the 10 swords, and it's always bloody, and it's always disturbing to see. And this one is, talks about, this gentleman here. It's from Ben Franklin. Those things that hurt instruct. So it's about learning from whatever terrible thing you've been through and moving forward, moving ahead. So that is the sword suit, which I just wanted to share that with you to give you a feeling of what this deck is like. Here are the backs again. This is a Klimt back. Now the last thing I want to show you, just briefly, is I went through the deck. So the deck has 78 cards, and I went through the deck and I found 3 cards. Well, I found more. I had like 10 cards, and I said, I don't want to go through 10 cards. That doesn't, 3 seems like a better number. Anyways, I got it down to 3 cards that I think are just really, really remarkable. And here's the first one, the Death card. It's a Klimt painting. Death twitches in my ear. Live, he says, I'm coming. And that's from it's really dark in this room. Virgil. Death twitches in my ear. Live, he says, I'm coming. Now that is a beautiful, beautiful death card. And a beautiful, beautiful saying for the death card. Death twitches in my ear. Live, he says, I'm coming. So that does give a whole different spin on the death card. And then we see the 2 different, there's a rebirth here, and there's the death card. Next one, the moon. This is from Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined. So live your dreams. And, we hear that all the time, living your dreams. But people don't even have dreams anymore. They just get so preoccupied with other things. You should have dreams, and you should follow your dreams. It's not easy to follow your dreams, but go confidently in the direction of your dreams. You have to start somewhere. You have to go in some direction. If you're going to go in some direction, go with your dreams. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. And then finally, this is the one that kind of got me this morning when I was doing a reading. God gave us memory so that we might have roses in December. Who said that? Sir J.M. Barrie. 6 of Cups. This is the nostalgia card. God gave us memories so that we might have roses in December. When we think of our memories are often, we tend to remember bad things. At least for me, I can only speak for myself. I remember disturbing things more than I remember good things. I remember a lot of things that, were kind of troubling. Grief things, sad things, could be traumatic things. We remember those over the good things. And there were so many good things, but we tend to forget. But anyways, God gave us memories so that we might have roses in December. We have control of our memories as far as remembering what we choose to remember. And it's not bad to remember the, wonderful, let's say, grief issues. We can remember people. But, we can also remember the good about them as well. And it talks about maybe choosing our memories a little bit better. God gave us memories so that we might have roses in December. And so that the memories that are good are also there to access, not just the memories that are troubling or make us feel sad. So that is just a quick discussion about this wonderful deck. You don't have to read tarot to use these cards because you could just read them as oracle cards, but they are very apropos the tarot as well, and they can be read as a tarot deck. Now they're kind of large, so when I did the spread, I just did, I think I did 5 across. Celtic Cross would be like humongous with this deck. Again, this is like The Art of Life. It's on Amazon. It's a wonderful deck to have. a wonderful deck to give, and it's a wonderful deck also to learn the tarot with, because you can learn the traditional keywords, but these quotes are really wonderful for the tarot as well. So I would anyone who has this deck and wants different keywords or wants to think of a card a different way, or a suit a different way, like the suit of swords, maybe you should pick up this deck and look at it. Anyways, that's all I have to say today. It is pitch black in this room, but it looks like it's not so bad in the camera. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but so I just want to share that with you because I had a great reading with this morning, and I think, and this deck is very reasonably priced on Amazon. You should check it out. Have a great day.